Hey, Alexi.
Hey,
I was worried that it was broken for other people too, but it seems you found it.
I lost. I missed last one, so I thought maybe you discussed and decided to move it, and I
No, no, no.
missed it somehow.
I think. I mean, it did move because of daylight savings time. I wonder if Australia do a different time of year for daylight savings adjustment, or maybe this is
Now we switched DST like 2 or 3 weeks apart from you,
okay. Okay, that's probably the confusion.
so it's time changes like the difference changes like 4 times a year between me and you.
Great, that's super efficient. Um, I, I don't see anybody else. So we can make it short. I had two questions for you. One one was your last comment was something along the lines of there's so many small things to fix or something like this, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something. Like you said, yeah, so many leftovers are still there. Is that meaning so? I'm okay if there's like things you still want to change in the core. Like of course, like it's always okay. But at the same time, I'm also like, hey, like if we can calm things down and merge some stuff, that's also good. How are you feeling? Are you like, hey, this stuff is are
Yeah,
you
no. See, I switched
mostly
from
happy
my
or
TS, I switched from my TSM to your TSM,
okay,
and
yeah.
it simplified bunch of things, and I still have to remove some because
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
mean last time who was that? David? No, not David Cameron.
Jonathan Cameron.
Cameron. Sorry?
Jonathan Cameron.
Jonathan Cameron. Yes,
Yep.
he reviewed and he missed a bunch of these. But next time, next reviewer will notice and say, why do you need these 2 pointers when you can use just one
Okay,
and skip this PF0 pointer? And that would be good, right? Comment to fix. So
I
I'm
see.
trying to fix them now as I go.
Okay.
Unless he meant something else, but he just suggested dropping one pointer,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So so how are you feeling? So like we're at RC6. TDX is out because we have a dependency on something that Sean's working on. ARM is out because they said they're not ready to merge because they're changing their specification. And so for
I
619,
really
I
want to post something today or tomorrow.
okay, okay. Do you think um do you think you will be able to get an ACK from Boris? Do you think I need one when I send this to Linus and say, hey, Linus, this is the core. Alexi and I are happy about it. If if the tip tree doesn't like it, they can speak now. Or but yeah, I mean, I guess it's easier with an act from Boris, but I don't. I also know it's kind of difficult to get last minute acts from tip
Uh,
tree.
I'm not sure if we really need Boris's hack. It's more like Thomas's hack, probably,
Are you
because
touching?
it's touching CCP, KVM, but not platform exactly, except that stuff which stops changing page status when you do DMA mappings.
Okay.
I kind of sort of want this one when I post like phase two, right?
Well, I
Which
mean,
is the guest.
yeah, for phase two, like, I mean, but yeah, I mean, for phase
Oh,
two, well, the guest stuff and the phase two stuff, like, we're gonna have a lot more stuff to work on. But I think for the phase one, just for the IDE, SPDM, link encryption stuff, I don't really
for
think
ID, it would
Tip
be
cares
like
that
Tom
much.
or Mike Roth, but not exactly Boris. Boris is not
Okay,
touching
okay,
that area.
okay. But you think you might be able to get an act from Tom before the next week or so?
Uh,
Basically, basically,
I'll
I
try and catch
basically,
him online.
yeah. I mean, basically, if you want, if you want, if we want the stuff to go for 619, send me some acts. If not, we can wait. Like it's not a huge deal because, but it'd just be nice. We could have a beer at at Plumbers
It's
celebrating the some stuff going upstream.
it's going to be hard because you have this Thanksgiving coming, so people are taking time off
People are
even now.
people are taking time off, but at least for me, like the only thing left for me to do with this is apply your patches and push the tree. That's like I can do that in I could do that in between bites at turkey at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So
Then
yeah.
then I'll post my patches tonight, and I'll spend my evening poking Texas
Okay.
people.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll see. That works for me. Um, the only other question I had for you was something that came up on the TDX side. I was wondering how SEV or TIO handled it. Is right now when we initialize our kind of TDX Connect, we pass it the current RTC value, so real-time clock value, and apparently the reason for that is because the TSM wants to validate certificates and it needs to validate that the time is okay, and to do that, it needs to have an idea of what the current time is. Um, does does TIO do the same thing, or do they? Well, yeah, basically, does that sound familiar? Does TIO care about clocks at all?
I haven't touched this area at all.
Okay,
I would assume it's done like with PSP when we initialize PSP
yeah, because
without IO even.
without TIO, oh yeah, so yeah, when the PSP is initialized, maybe it also gets the time at that point. Um, but it's like one of the challenges is I think on some platforms, especially in these cloud environments, they don't have batteries on the system, and so um, the system might not know the time until late in the boot process, until like the NTP service comes up. So I'm just wondering if the real time clock changes, do we need to tell our TSMs? And if we do, then probably we probably would have a shared mechanism between all of, like, basically the PCI core would, or something common would say, oh hey, time changed. Tell it basically be a TSM callback to say update RTC, or something like this. But it seems kind of strange.
I would have to dig
Okay,
for it.
okay, okay. No worries. No worries.
Next time I'll come prepared.
Yeah. well, well, it's hard to come prepared when you get surprised with the question live. So, um, okay. Yeah.
Um, I
Other
had
people.
a small question about that fleet mode. So you have
Okay.
your device does fleet mode,
No,
right?
no, it doesn't. It doesn't do flip mode, but but
And your root port can do fleet mode.
yeah, but I mean, like all CXL, like CXL is 100% flip mode. So I'm thinking that any platform that can do PCI Gen 6, 7, 6, PCI Gen 6 can potentially support flip mode. Um, but the reason I added it was just because the RD Association said, hey, if flip mode is there, you have to include this value. I said, okay, well, how do I determine flip mode is there? It's like, oh, you have to go to this devcap3 register, and so
Right?
that's why
No,
I added
no,
that.
I got that part. I just was
Yeah, but
confused that you keep adding it, and I don't see immediate. I don't see
I
any device which would allow this, and I have domains and they work, and it's like,
I don't think, yeah, I don't see any devices that support it. Like you're asking in terms of like, hey, can we keep it simpler by not?
no, 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 keep it. It's just
Okay, just wondering where it came from.
and right. And do you have segments actually
We do have
enabled?
segments like we do have segments. There's software segments. The ACPI has tell us the segments, and I think I don't know what the rules are when the BIOS does it or not, but like maybe it does new segments on socket boundaries or something strange like this. But that's a software segment. Um,
Because
but
on
I
my one P system, I have two segments.
you want two segments on do you have a segment per host bridge?
No, I have like four host bridges, but I have two segments.
No,
If it
segments.
was,
Yeah.
say, PowerPC, I would have segment per root port or
Okay.
host bridge. It would be six of them or eight for a single CPU. But here it's different. Anyway, I see first number, not zero
First
now.
number not zero. But I think if it's just a software segment, then we still make it zero in the RID association. We only We only care about it if the hardware cares about the segment value, which most hardware doesn't. As far as I understand, like this, yeah, I'm just basically just following the spec. These hardware people sometimes are confusing to follow. Hey, I see we have some other people join too, so it's not just us this time.
Yes. Rob was wondering about upstreaming process.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, so I'm not sure when people join, but basically the status is the core the core has been sitting in Next with no problems, but the core can't go up without a user. The only viable user in the 619 timeframe is AMD. So Alexei says he's going to send some stuff out, try to get some acks, and I will monitor that and grab the patches if everything looks good and try to send it to Linus and this time when I send the stuff to Linus, I will explain what a TSM is. I don't know if you guys saw it last time. I got the he's like, hey, why does everybody always talk to me in acronyms? Could somebody please tell me what a TSM is? So um, I will endeavor not to make that same mistake again.
So that was Linus.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
he's making fun of us, but like this is also why the core patches say it's just soup a soup of acronyms like CMA, SPDM, IDE, my favorite is TDIS because it's an acronym within an acronym. Like it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I think anybody on the outside just thinks that we're spouting off the alphabet in random order and not actually communicating things.
well,
Even
when I posted mine in February, I got
mhm.
personal thank you from Boris for this acronym soup.
Yeah. So it's the same over here. Like Yulun posted his series and Dave Hansen. He's like, "What the heck is SPDM IDE? I don't know what this is." Like, oh, that's link encryption. Let's call it link encryption. And that got him.
Well, the old IDE kind of expired, I'm guessing. The
The
IDE
old
hard drives.
the old
So
the
now
old
we're
IDE.
using it.
Oh, but is it? That was the new IDE is an integrated development environment, so you can't win. You can't win.
True, but different area, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yes. Um. Yeah. So outside of the RTC issue, yeah, we'll circle back and figure that one out later.
About
I
stage 2, and
so
I
stage
saw Anish posted stuff.
so stage two, yeah, that's next on my plate. Like because there was no way that stuff's going to go over 619. I said, hey, uh, this is a good breaking point to actually to clear out some of the CXL backlog and get ready for and get ready for Plumber. So I do plan to um, take a look at his phase two stuff again and start picking up on driving the consensus there.
But when I decide to post video phase 2, it will be all about guest stuff, or I implement the bind and bind in the host and the rest in the guest.
So my and we can talk more about this in plumbers, but and this is I think part of the reason why the PCI microconference asked me to give a summary. Um, but I'm still under the impression that if we can get the pure guest side settled and not have to entangle it with any other patches, that we can get that merge probably faster, probably in the best case 620 kind of time frame. And then because I have a sense that this phase three, all the host side DMA um, IOMMU stuff is going to might take multiple kernel cycles, and so let's let's
Well,
focus on polishing the phase two stuff
then
first.
phase 3 will do today bind and bind and all this IOMMUFD stuff,
Yep,
VFIO, DMA
yep,
buff stuff. So you can split in phase 3A and 3B, or
yep.
have just
Probably
5
phase three.
phases.
Yeah. I think phase one was easy. Phase two should be a little bit more difficult, but not so bad. And phase three is this feels it feels gigantic. So and lots of people can have lots of opinions. And so I mean, even on phase one, we had a lot of back and forth. So I'd rather just spend all of it, because like phase two also we have to convince Greg about the device model, and we have to convince we still like Jason still is not 100% clear on the driver model, especially for drivers that want to do pre-configuration before the lock state. Um, so yeah, I think we have plenty of topics to settle, and let's not muddy the waters with phase three stuff. But yeah, if people are ready for phase three, we can start talking about it. But right now, I'm like, I don't have the mental bandwidth or the risk tolerance to bring in phase three topics while we're trying to get phase two settled.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, but also yeah, this is open source, and you can disagree and prove me wrong. That's also that's also part of it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. So yeah. That would look good for that would be a happy moment for 619. And yeah. So that's really all I had tonight. Unless other people had. Let's poll for opens. Anybody have any open questions or topics they were hoping to get some insight on tonight or today?
Nothing for me. Just here for status.
Okay. Yep. We're still alive, still kicking. I can hold up a copy of today's newspaper if you want to.
Blink twice.
You blink twice. Yeah. Yeah. No, we're still kicking. Okay. Did we settle on that? This is Lexi. Did we settle on that question about how we find the mailbox? Like, I think we were probably in violent agreement the whole time, but a mailbox we don't expect anybody's producing multi mailbox devices today. But if you ask Linux to search for the mailbox, if you search for the CMA mailbox and you search for the secure session mailbox, it'll probably return the same thing, right?
The spec allows you to have multiple. The spec also describes how you discover them. So it's totally possible to make up a device which will do what, like, have two mailboxes and each implementing one protocol for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
In my tree, in one of my patches, I just have a check that mailbox supports a session, and that's it. Just an extra check and print error. I can drop it for now because there is no device to trigger this error. So it's a dead code, really.
Okay.
Just people read spec this one already, like, differently. And I have two devices where people read it differently and implement it differently, and devices hang if you don't do what device wants. And both are correct.
Both are both are not wrong. I wouldn't say both are correct, but both are not wrong.
Well, they hang, so they don't do what spec says they should do in both cases, but still. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where I cause heartburn for some people, but I tend to believe that like Linux is kind of a standard of last resort. I mean, and Windows kind of plays this role where they have hardware qualification, and they say, yeah, the spec allows you to all of these things, this entire range. But if you want the sticker, you got to constrain it to these things, or not do these behaviors. And so I think it's
right.
I think it's okay for Linux to be like, we're only going to support one mailbox, and if you are unlucky enough to invent the two mailbox device, you get to send the patches to fix up Linux. We're not going to.
Out of curiosity, do you often or ever speak to these, Windows people?
I mean, we're a hardware company, so we hear about the things that Windows needs through the grapevine, or what they do. Anyway, I mean, honestly, like this meeting, this computational computing consortium meeting, when Dan Middleton and I created it, my intent was that it would be a space where we could invite the VMwares and the Microsofts and other people to come in, like, because I do feel like we all, that if Linux sees a problem Microsoft would probably be interested in hearing what their problem is. Like, oh yeah, we have that problem too. Like, how do you guys want to solve it? And vice versa. So I'll say it this way.
Because now and then I talk to Microsoft and they
Mhm.
doing like devices and Windows support, and they cannot look in my code to implement support. So I have to go and explain how it works
Yeah.
without them looking. So I look at the code and tell them.
Yeah. I mean, so
but
yeah.
but if they have device and that device will not make friends with Linux, they will say, okay, we're not Linux, we're Windows, we're happy with this device, and we'll continue developing it this way and not that way. And so
Yeah,
Linux is it's good and powerful, but not 100%.
100%. Yeah,
the
I mean,
market.
I'm hoping that we learn the because I mean, yeah, because Azure is going to need to support Linux guests, and so I'm hoping that the Microsoft folks also join this at some point to tell us how our like I'm sure they're gonna have strong opinions or have more feedback on phase 2. Like that will be the place where I think people are gonna want to understand like okay, what does Linux need from the VMM? What does guest Linux need from the VMM to operate?
Just DOE is a phase 1. So.
Yeah. So DOA is yeah. So right now they probably don't care about the stuff we're working on, but yeah, phase 2 I think will be where we can probably open this up a little bit wider to other people that need to run Linux guests.
And say on my phase 2, I will have this guest request, which will pretty much do all the work from your side. And it does info, enable MMIO, enable DMA. It doesn't say do unlock, do log, or accept. And I'm not inventing new messages yet. So I found a way to just live with this tree happily. Do you have specific messages to lock and accept?
We do have specific GHCIs for those. I mean, they're more. I think they're more verbose than just a lock and accept. Like I think there's some multi-stage, but they are part of like Linux or TDX calls them TDG calls. They're guest calls into the
So
TDX
guest
module.
will call like say MMIO, what we call MMIO validate for every bar, and
Something
then
like
it
this.
will say accept.
Yep.
And it will enable DMA by a separate call, or it will be part of accept.
I have to go look, but the only time we use guest request is when we need to actually talk to the device mailbox. But otherwise, if it's just like setting up kind of TSM state, then we can just call directly to the TSM module, TDX module.
So when you want to validate MMIO, you talk to TSM. If you want to lock or accept, you talk to hypervisor. So it talks to device for you.
Yes. Something like this. Yeah. Like I said, the phase 2 stuff is getting cache warm again after we get through plumbers.
No, I'm asking because I have this GHCB spec, and all the messages will go via GHCB, and I am also maintainer of that guy.
So the spec?
Yes.
Okay.
So I can put there whatever I want.
Okay.
The question is what I want. I want to keep it as short as possible.
But you're saying you're mapping. So like when Linux says lock, you actually just turn that into another. That's going to be another GHCB. Basically, everything turns into guest request.
I say if the guest is curious about TIO and calls get info, at this point I lock and return all the info, and the state is locked. And then if the guest says enable DMA, and I write my guest driver in the way that first it enables MMIO bar by bar, right? And then it says enable DMA. And when this enable DMA happens, this is when I move it to run state.
Run state. But isn't that isn't like the info stage too early to lock? Like if you needed to support a device that wanted to check if you're locked or basically check the configuration, do some operations, and then lock later, should that be an explicit command or?
What is the thing you want to do in unlocked state? Well,
The thing,
if you do, then you just don't call get info, and
just
it's
okay,
unlocked.
okay, makes sense.
I can implement it the other way. It's like if you specifically ask for state and it would say config unlocked. Well, at this point, it may not even be bound, right? Because you just plug it in and maybe you're not going to make it secure ever.
Maybe not, yeah, maybe not make
That
yeah,
it
you might
will
not make
not
it
be
secure.
bound. So
Right.
you may want bind, like explicit bind from guest to
Yes.
host. And you have this one too, or
Yeah,
how do you bind?
we're expecting an explicit bind from the guest. The guest will say bind. Well, I mean, the guest will say lock, which is bind. Lock and bind are the same. I mean, but
Well, no. Lock assumes it's bound. So you have config unlocked state. And if you didn't do bind, then there is no config unlocked. There is no tdisp state at all. It's like -1.
To this state is all. But it boots into unlock state, right? I thought
No,
there's no.
to get unlocked state, it needs to be like you have to create TDI context descriptor, whatever you call it in your TSM. In my TSM, it's an operation. TDI create. If there is no TDI create, then you cannot get TDI status.
Right. But that's not
And then you
bind, right? Like, This, but
and
this is also why this is also why the phase 3 discussion can be fun, because I think we're going to find these small differences between the semantics between TSM
yes,
implementations.
right. Okay. But again, I'm not going to LPC.
Oh, you're not going to LPC, okay.
No, we have strange funding problem.
Well, yeah, the just from the attendee list, you can see that the Intel funding problem is even stranger. So, like, yeah, we only have two. I think we only have two people in the Intel going.
See, in IBM, it was always about like Q3, Q4, which is like strict because in February they release financial report, earnings per share, and all that stuff. But the AMD is not paying any earnings. It's just there is no really good reason to limit ourselves.
Who knows?
In like second half of the year.
I think this should be a BOF session at Plumbers, like how to talk to your management chain about travel funding, and but the talk I really want to do, actually I might submit it, is how do you talk to your management chain about schedule deadlines for Linux, because it's a very strange position, like explaining, like, hey hardware company who has very strict controls over all the hardware you're building, we need to develop this software that's delivered to people that are all across the globe that really don't care about your timelines, and so yeah, it's a fun job. But that's a topic for another time. Okay, yeah, but yeah, so that's people got their status update. Outside of that, everything look at me. So yeah, take a look. So the staging tree. From the last time we had this meeting, you'll see that staging tree has moved all the prerequisites for phase 1, all the core pieces, into the level 3 maturity. That moved forward, and then the architecture support moved forward to level 2 maturity, which means everybody posted their stuff. It's all integrated into the tree, and then AMD is first in line to go to level 3 maturity, for which basically go into Linux next. And yeah, but that should be the state you see in the maturity map right now.
Good.
Well,
Yeah, awesome.
still level 2 for AMD, but yeah, we'll try to get to level 3 over Turkey Day. Okay. Well, yeah, I won't drag this out if nobody has any other topics.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
yep. Have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and we'll see you next summer. I think we might have one more of these before Plumbers, but that might be during the merge window. I might stay tuned. I might cancel that one just because in anticipation of Plumbers. But if I don't see you, then we'll see you. Yeah, stay tuned. Actually, yeah, because there might be Christmas break. So stay tuned for the next version, next edition of this one, outside of Plumbers.
Right.
Sounds good.
Or come to LinuxCon Australia in
When is that?
end of January in Canberra.
End of January. Yeah, I just have to go to Japan. I'm not sure they're going to send me to Australia, but we'll see. We'll see. Sounds good. Cool.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
We'll see you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.